30,000 Roman soldiers vanished, and historians still can't explain it. Sometime around 120 AD, one of Rome's most decorated legions simply ceased to exist. No final battle recorded, no monument raised to their dead, no dispatch sent back to Rome explaining what happened. 5,000 soldiers, veterans who had marched from Spain to Britain, who had crushed rebellions and held the edge of the known world, vanished from the historical record as completely as if the earth had swallowed them whole. The Ninth Legion, gone. That silence is the most terrifying part. Rome recorded everything: birth registers, grain shipments, the names of soldiers who deserted for a week. The empire ran on paperwork the way it ran on roads, obsessively, completely. When a legion fought and lost, Rome wrote it down. When a legion was dishonored, Rome disbanded it publicly, a ritual humiliation stamped into the official record. But the Ninth Legion received none of that. No obituary, no dishonorable discharge, just absence. One decade they appear in garrison records at Eboracum, modern York, and the next, nothing. The stamp of their existence simply stops. To understand what that silence means, you have to understand what the Ninth was.
From ancient forests to
the Legio IX Hispana had been fighting for Rome since before Julius Caesar crossed the Rubicon. They bled at Pharsalus. They conquered the Iberian Peninsula, which is where their name came from, Hispana, the Spanish. By the time they were posted to Britain in 43 AD, they were one of only 28 legions holding together an empire that stretched from Scotland to Syria. Britain was not a posting given to second-rate soldiers. It was given to the Ninth because Britain was dangerous. And Britain had already nearly killed them once.
Calls us to rise.
In 60 AD, a queen named Boudica united 3 tribes and burned 3 Roman cities to the ground: Londinium, Camulodunum, Verulamium. The fire was visible for miles. The death toll ran into the tens of thousands, Romans and their British allies slaughtered with a rage that Roman writers admitted they struggled to describe. The Ninth marched to intercept her. Of the roughly 5,000 men who marched north that day, fewer than a third came home. Their cavalry fled. Their infantry was butchered in the open field. The legion's legate, Quintus Petilius Cerealis, escaped on horseback, which the historical record notes with the particular coldness of a man who knows exactly how that looks. He survived. His men did not. And yet, the Ninth survived too. Rome reinforced them, rebuilt them, and sent them back to the frontier. Because that is what Rome did. Legions were not men, they were institutions. You could replenish the bodies. The number stayed. The eagle standard stayed. The Ninth kept marching. Which makes what happened next even harder to explain. By the early 2nd century, the northern frontier of Britain had become the most violent edge of the Roman world. The Caledonian tribes, the people the Romans never conquered, the ancestors of the Scots, had spent 2 generations watching Rome take everything south of them. They had learned. They raided in winter when Roman supply lines froze. They vanished into terrain that Roman cavalry couldn't follow. They did not fight pitched battles. They bled the legions slowly, the way the land itself bled soldiers: cold, wet, patient, relentless. The Emperor Trajan reportedly lost more men to Britain's north than to any single campaign on the continent. The Ninth was stationed at Eboracum, the fortress at the edge of that world. Their job was to hold the line. Then Trajan died. Hadrian became emperor and made a decision that tells you everything. He came to Britain personally in 122 AD and ordered the construction of a wall. Not a fortified road, not a series of forts, a wall. 73 miles of stone from coast to coast, cutting Britain in 2. It was the largest construction project in Roman history outside of Rome itself.
Think about what that means. The most powerful empire on earth looked at northern Britain, calculated the cost, and decided that conquest wasn't worth it. Better to build a border and dare the North to cross it. The Ninth Legion does not appear in any record connected to that wall. Here is where history becomes a ghost story. The last confirmed record of the Ninth as an active unit is a building inscription found at Eboracum, dated to around 108 AD. After that, there are two possible sightings, fragmentary evidence suggesting some portion of the Legion may have been transferred east toward the Parthian frontier. Some historians have built careers on these fragments. The theory goes that the Ninth wasn't destroyed in Britain at all. They were redeployed, renamed, absorbed into other units, the bureaucratic death that happens to institutions more often than the heroic one. It's a reasonable theory. It's also, when you sit with it, somehow worse. Because the other possibility is this. Sometime between 108 and 120 AD, the Ninth Legion marched north of what would become Hadrian's Wall, into the territory Rome had already decided wasn't worth the cost, and they did not come back.
Hadrian's Wall tells you where Rome drew the line. The missing ninth tells you why. Every empire has a place where it stopped, a frontier it looked at and decided, quietly, without ceremony, this far and no further. Rome's was a stretch of cold northern hills. The men who found that limit the hard way left no monument, no final dispatch, no name carved in stone, just an absence in the record, a number that stops appearing, a legion that was there and then wasn't. The wind still moves across those hills, the wall still stands, mostly. And somewhere beneath the grass, if you believe the ghost story version of history rather than the sensible one, 5,000 soldiers are still waiting for Rome to come back for them. Rome never did.